Hey guys, welcome back to Gringo Barbecue. I'm your host Noah, and today we have a margarita that's considered fancy but very simple to make, super smooth and delicious. So get ready to hold your pinkies high and let's dive right into it. Barbecue and tequila. All right guys, so today's menu is a Cadillac Margarita. Now this is the kind of margarita where you've had a good week at work, maybe you closed a deal, finished a project, whatever it might be. It's Friday night, you're out at a nice restaurant, and instead of ordering that $7.99, house margarita, you're like, I deserve that $14.99 Cadillac Margarita. It's usually made with better tequila, but I'm gonna show you how to make it at home for a fraction of the cost, but just as delicious. So let's dive right into it. Couple things, guys. So first off, if you haven't checked out my house margarita mix video, go check that out. This margarita mix and any margarita mix you get is really, can either make a margarita fantastic or make it mediocre, even if the tequila is really good. So this margarita mix doesn't leave that like weird, bitter taste in your throat. It's very smooth, complements without overpowering the tequila. So we're gonna be using that today. Check that in the bio though. Good rule of thumb for making a Cadillac Margarita is for every 2 ounces of margarita mix, you're gonna do 1 ounce of tequila. So I like to have my drinks as roughly 1.5 ounces of tequila. So I'm gonna do 3 ounces of margarita mix. So 1, 2, 3, 1.5 ounces there. And another 1.5 ounces there. Now, as far as the tequila goes, with a Cadillac Margarita, you're usually gonna steer clear of that Blanco Margarita. And the reason behind that is we're gonna be adding the Grand Marnier at the end. And we want this to drink very smooth and those two to complement each other. Blanco Margarita is fantastic in like a house margarita because you're really tasting that like salt and like true Blanco tequila. But with a Reposado, with a Cadillac Margarita, you want more of a Reposado or an Añejo, something that's a little bit smoother, kind of like a vanilla-y, citrusy is most of the time how they describe Reposado's tequila. And that's gonna really complement the other flavors that we're gonna be adding. So today I'm gonna go with Casamigos Reposado. Now, Casamigos Reposado, you talk to a bartender and they're like, oh, Casamigos, I got much better options. And there are other really good tequilas out there, don't hear me wrong. But I think Casamigos Reposado is fantastic in a Cadillac Margarita. This has some of those, I know they say like additives or whatnot, but this has more like that vanilla, that kind of like caramelish type flavor. I think it just tastes fantastic with the Grand Marnier. So we're gonna go ahead with that. This is, roughly a $60 bottle, but under $75, I don't know if there's a better tasting Reposado tequila out there. So I'm gonna go with that. Now I did 3 ounces of the margarita mix. So this is gonna be 1.5 ounces of tequila. And we'll set that right there. All right, now next we're gonna go to our orange liqueur. So orange liqueur, you don't have to do anything fancy here. You could go get a more like $40 bottle of like Contro. That's really good orange liqueur. This one I'm trying is a Royal Orange liqueur. This was like 22 bucks at Total Wine, but was super highly rated. Spend your money on the tequila and get a better tequila, then spend the extra 20 bucks on the orange liqueur. We're gonna do 1/2 ounce of this, so it doesn't have to be anything crazy. 1/2 ounce of orange liqueur as such. All right. Now, guys, it is time to shake our margarita. Now, if you take anything from this video, take this. Anytime you're making a margarita, please shake it. A margarita that's shaken versus stirred tastes so much better. It mixes the flavors better. You get that ice that opens up the flavor of the actual tequila in there. So I'm a firm believer in shaking it. All right, cool. So now it's presentation time. So I like salt on my rim of my margarita. Some people like sugar. Use whatever you prefer. I personally do like salt. And so I'm gonna show you guys how to get a really nice looking salt rim on your glass while still being at home. So take your lime, cut it up. You're gonna cut it in half like such, quarter it from there, and then one more time. So cut it into like 1/8. Move this off to the side. You can see there, that's ultimately the size of the lime that you want. Now what you're gonna do is take a slice right down the middle of it. Ultimately that's gonna go on your glass itself, but in the interim, what you're gonna do is line your cup with that lime juice. take some form of salt here. I just have a little bit of salt on a plate here, and then you're just gonna roll it around. Super simple, very quick, but gives you that like professional looking rim on your margarita. Now, let's talk about ice. Use whatever ice you prefer. You know, if you got really good cubed ice, use that. I'm a big believer in having good ice though, because if you have ice that tastes like your freezer, ultimately your margarita can only be so good. So either have ice from your fridge that's filtered or go buy ice at the store. I really like cubed ice. And the reason I like doing cubed ice in my margaritas is I don't want my margarita to be diluted. I like the way it tastes as is. I love to be able to taste the tequila, and I don't want to water it down as I'm drinking it, but I still want it to be that ice cold flavor from the first initial sip. So using a cubed ice will allow you to do that. I'm a big fan of those. All right, let's go ahead and pour it. Shake it one last time, and we're gonna pour it right over top. Yeah, the color looks so good. Looks really good. It's not quite as dark as that, or excuse me, not quite as light as a traditional margarita because we went with the Reposado, so there's a little bit of color that's added there, but that looks really good. So last step in a Cadillac Margarita is to add the Grand Marnier. We're gonna do a Grand Marnier floater. I literally just go in a circle. Some people say ½ ounce to an ounce if you really want to mathematic it out. I think that's a word. But nonetheless, we're gonna go ahead and put that in a circle like such. Now, Grand Marnier, it's a cognac and orange liqueur. What's nice about that and why it tastes so good in this Cadillac Margarita is it adds a lot of depth to it, and it also makes it very smooth. So you're gonna get very smooth flavors when you combine this with the Reposado, and it's gonna be easy to drink. I can't wait too much longer, so let's have a sip of this and give it a try. Cheers. Oh, man. Man, that makes your mouth water right out the gate. That's so good. That's just super smooth. The tequila in there, you can still very clearly taste. The margarita mix doesn't overpower it. It only highlights it. Grand Marnier is always a good floater. You can never go wrong there. Don't skip on the Grand Marnier. That's a key. If you're gonna spend some money on that too. It just adds that depth. It's super smooth. The cognac in there, I think it's more for the smoothness even than tasting that flavor. But man, it's so good. All right, guys, that's how you make a restaurant quality Cadillac Margarita at home. Until next time, cheers.